Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's popping? It's your boy. We're Losers Lounge, ladies and gentlemen.
As promised.
The Knicks took out the 76ers last night. It wasn't an easy game. It's a tough game, but they took them out. Any other thoughts though, Tony, from the game? Anything that you thought about since last night?
To be honest, not really. I've calmed down. I've cooled down. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the win is the win. Always better to win the game, no matter how it goes down. But yeah, to me that was just another one of those win the games we're supposed to.
Yeah. I don't think I have any other thoughts from it. Just like you, I don't think I have any other thoughts from it. It kind of is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I got thoughts on the next one. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you gotta move on to the next one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia, man. I don't know. Do you think is Philly done?
It feels like it. Like they feel like it feels like this situation is worse than Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All the years that Brooklyn was going through what they was going through with KD, Kyrie, and all that.
Right.
I always felt like it could flip at any second. You know what I mean? It could turn around at any minute.
Right.
Or they could get to the playoffs and go on a run. You know what I mean? I don't feel that way about Philly. And it's mostly because of Embiid. I think his injury concerns are too much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially the way they talked about not playing back-to-backs all year, like the load management situation before the season even started.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like that was a bad sign. The fact that he played in the Olympics and then doesn't come into the season healthy, that's a bad. You know what I mean? That's a bad sign as a fan, I would assume. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then for me personally, I looked at him going and playing the Olympics as a red flag of him knowing, let me get this gold medal to add that to my resume, because the long-term championship window is closing. So you know what I mean? So I could have this accolade as opposed to the uncertainty of a championship, or the unlikelihood of a championship at this point. You know what I mean? Pardon me 1 second, but I'm here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I understand exactly what you're saying. But ladies and gentlemen, blessings to all of you. Nostalgic Nick, blessings to you. You know what I mean? Everybody that's in the chat, blessings to all of you. And this is not going to be a super long show. Because I got to get on the road. I got some movement to do. But yeah, we're gonna knock this out and talk a little bit Knicks Philly from last night and what the Philly fans have to say. So let's get to the first one, ladies and gentlemen. The first one. Marcos said, it's time for Embiid to retire. I mean, I don't know. Is it time for Embiid to retire? Tony, you think?
I wouldn't say say that, but he could end up having to retire at any time. You know what I mean? So that's the way it feels like. The longevity of his career, or it just feels like it could be over at any moment, as opposed to like he should wrap it up. I mean, he's a hell of a player, even injured, but I don't know if he could continue to play through injuries, at this point. But healthy shit, he's, you know what I mean?
I mean, right now is not the time for him to retire, but I do think he's going to be one of those players that retires earlier than he. I don't know if I think it. There's a good chance he's going to be one of those players that retires earlier than you would expect, I think, because the injuries to take a toll on his body. He's been like that since he's come into the league. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just glad that we didn't trade for him. You know what I mean? Because then now we'd be in the same exact position. Now, Cat he's had his injury, his injury bugs or whatever. Not like Embiid, though. You know what I mean? Not like Embiid. I don't know. I don't think it's time for him to retire, but I understand the sentiment. You know what I mean? I definitely do. Definitely do. Definitely. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Speaking of Embiid, Matt said the sad part is it's not like having Embiid would be helping these rebounding issues either. I mean, the Knicks out-rebounded the 76ers last night by like 15 or something like that. Knicks had 15 offensive rebounds. I think somebody mentioned that as well, right? Ski said the Knicks had 15 offensive rebounds. This is the same exact thing that beat us in the playoffs.
And like I said,
the Knicks rebounding. I mean, I don't know what to say about Philly and their rebounding, but let's talk about the Knicks rebounding.
This, like I said, that was the closest that we've looked to the last year's team. The way we rebounded the ball last night, the way we got offensive rebounds last night, it was so reminiscent of the playoffs.
Yeah. Do you think it's do you think it's just this game? Or
I think they made a conscious effort, and that's what they're gonna have to do. So, you know what I mean? That's the way they're gonna have to play. They still shot the ball well.
Right. I mean, do you think when Cat is there, I mean, obviously Cat's a good rebounder, and he's been, the best rebounder in the league. Do you think this type of play continues?
I don't know if there's a correlation to him being gone, other than him being gone made them make more of a conscious effort. You know what I mean? So, I always felt like they were still capable, but they probably was like, yo, he's grabbing 15, 13, 12, you know what I mean, rebounds. That's something we don't gotta worry about as much.
Right. Yeah. Kevin, I think it's fair to say us missing Cat is equivalent to them missing Embiid. Philly just needs to hit the reset button. Yeah, Philly probably does need to hit the reset button. They, probably, they probably wore out their welcome.
The bad thing is they just extended Embiid, so I think they missed the window on moving him, because at this point he's more damaged goods. I mean, you know what I mean? Than before, people would have more likely taken a risk. we was talking about wanting him prior to the last year. You know what I mean? So as Knicks fans, we you know what I mean, like that was our pipe dream.
Right.
So I don't know if they can move him. PG, I mean, he could finish the year strong and maybe get moved, but I think he started the season not great, missing time again. You know what I mean? So I think there's question marks on moving him. So the reset is just it has to start with Maxey, unfortunately.
Right. You know, on the surface, I guess it looked like a good move to add Paul George. But when you dig deeper, and I think a lot of people probably, like fans, probably spoke about it. When you dig deeper, the injury problems Paul George has had throughout his career, and then of course Joel Embiid, it was a risk. I think this was their last. We talk. They need to hit the reset button. I think this is Philly's last gasp. Paul George was their last gasp, and then they'll move on. That's what I think.
The other messed up thing is they were better off with James Harden because James Harden and Maxey actually played well together. So it wasn't like Harden was restricting Maxey. You know what I mean? He took off when Harden got hurt, but they also played well together. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just funny that PG left the Clippers and Harden's on the Clippers, and yeah, I'm sure they're regretting it. And the first move was probably the move of fire Daryl Morey, to be honest, because they're probably looking at all the transactions. All right, look what Harden's doing. He wasn't bad in Philly. You know what I mean? Like he just wanted to get re-signed, like was promised.
Yeah.
You bring Paul George there, that don't look like it's working. I don't think Daryl Morey's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they haven't. I don't know. And fans are, Philly fans, they're tired of it. Right? We suffered through the process for this. Unbelievable. And I agree. I never thought the process was smart. I always felt that it developed a losing culture.
I mean, the process can work if you're making the right draft picks. You know what I mean? Like Ben Simmons, I think he was great for them. So I wouldn't even include him in the category, but didn't they have 2 other first round picks that ended up not panning out?
They had that's the center.
Center.
Can't think of his name.
Jahlil Okafor, was he one of? He was part of the process.
He was part of the process.
I think they had another big man too.
Was Noel?
Yeah, Nerlens Noel was part of the process. I don't know how high of a pick he was, but
right.
You know what I mean? He was part of the process. You know what I mean? The Ben Simmons situation. So it as much as people talk about the draft picks that we missed out on, I would love to look back and look at who they drafted those years and who they skipped over. Because that, you know what I mean, the process could have worked, but they had a lot of misses.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I still think that it creates a losing culture, though.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And I think when you have a losing culture, it's hard to get your hands around it, to get it back. I mean, you literally got to start, like, scrap everything and bring in new players that come from winning cultures and start building and playing to win. Like that whole thing, the process told everyone we're playing to lose right now. So when you do bring in a draft pick, a high draft pick, like you're playing to lose. So are you doing the things? When you play to win, you may not always win. You can have a losing record, but a winning culture, right? Because a winning culture is not just about winning games, and the end result is about winning games. But it's about the standards that you have as a team, the habits that you're building as a team, right? All of those things are part of a winning culture, and then you start to win. You may lose at first because you're building and growing and developing, and you got to add more pieces. But then you start to win, and then because you developed this winning culture, even while you were losing games, you weren't purposely losing games. You were trying to win games. You were preparing to win games. You were
Well,
doing study to
I
win
don't
games.
think,
Doing
I
all
don't
those
think,
things.
I don't think they were, I don't think they were doing what the Celtics said they was gonna do, and tell you know what I mean. Like when the Celtics brought Jay Crowder and Isaiah Thomason, traded for them, they told them, "Listen, we're not trying to win games this year. You know what I mean? We're not gonna be that good. We're trying to get a high draft pick." Da 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 da. Da. Those two guys was like, what are y'all talking about? You know what I mean? Played well, got them to the playoffs. I don't think Philly was telling players, you know what I mean? I think they was just drafting young, not bringing vets in, playing, you know what I mean? Playing all these rookies and seeing how they develop, but they were giving guys a year or two and playing guys that weren't necessarily ready for lead roles. You know what I mean? So,
But it felt like they were saying we're tanking.
Publicly, publicly, that was the perception of, I mean, I think they verbally said we're not trying to win games.
Right.
So that's bad. But I don't think they was like losing games on purpose. They just weren't good enough.
No, but I think me personally, I think when that message goes out there, your players take that message too, and they're like, all right, well, they're not even trying to win.
Okay. You think players will care less?
Exactly.
I mean, I can see that definitely with young guys.
Exactly.
Young guys for sure.
Right.
It just don't matter. I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? I'm in the NBA.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think it creates
no drive. No drive.
drive.
But the right guys, that was what I was saying about like Jay Crowder. Now, granted, I don't know how many young guys and will have that type of motivation, but I think players want to win. You know what I mean? But I can see that with especially 18, 17, 18.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it with those type of guys. Unless you just get the right one. That's like, nah.
Yeah, I think if you were going to call it the process, you come out and you say, here's the process. We're always going to try to win, right? Say we're always going to try to win, but we're going to draft young players and develop a young team. And we're going to, and develop a young team. So now when you draft these young players, they're like, okay, I'm part of something that's going to be bigger. We're trying to win games right now. We know we're young, but we're gonna grow. We're gonna be a good team. And you do all the things, like they say, dress for success. You know what I'm saying? You do all the things that you're supposed to do to win. I don't know I can't say if they were doing that or not, but I know the message that it sends.
And you know what? I do. You're right, because they did have vets, and the vets weren't closing games.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I do remember there was a couple of vets that was like, what am I doing here? I'm not.
Right.
So you got to get the ones that's on the tail end of their career, can't really play no more. You know what I mean? But getting a check, like,
right.
You got to bring those type guys that don't care at all. Veterans that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is my last 2 years, 20 million. Yeah. Sit on a bench.
Right. So I think it creates that kind of culture, man. I think you got to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? I think if you do it the right way, like you look at Houston, I think they did it the right. They're doing it the right. They did it the right way, and now they're a winning basketball program. San Antonio.
I mean, look at Detroit's turnaround,
Detroit.
bringing the vets in.
Right. You know, yeah, I think you got to do it the right way. I think you got to do it the right way. Ralph said Spurs tanked for Wemby. See, I get what you're saying, but I can guarantee you that even with young players, right? Greg Popovich was trying to win basketball games. They weren't throwing basketball games. They just had a bunch of young guys out there. And
I think they almost beat us.
Yeah.
that year.
I don't think they were throwing basketball. Greg Popovich is not going to throw basketball games, in my opinion. I don't think that they were throwing games. Like Tony said, oh, we're just going to play, we got these vets that are better than the young guys. No, I think they just said, because we're going to go young and we're just going to stick with young guys, we don't have any vets better than them to throw on the court. You know what I'm saying? And then when we get some pieces, then we'll bring some other vets in. And
they know how to do it. You know what I mean? They did the same thing for Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean? With a much older veteran team. You know what I mean? Wemby is the reverse. You know what I mean? Now they starting with him.
Right.
As opposed to a finishing piece. It's a starting piece. But that's still a winning culture, winning organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tanking. I think people know tanking is not the thing. You know what I mean? Julian said, losers. Maxey is another one. Can't lead in that farm. Fire Morey and Nurse. Man, Tyrese Maxey is a hooper. He's one you build with. You know what I mean? What's your take on Tyrese?
I mean, he showed me all he needs to show me in the playoffs last year. So yeah, he legit. He's legit for sure. It looked like they got another one in the rookie that got hurt, McCain. Jared McCain, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He looked like another one. They have a nice young core to start over. It's just gonna be, and I think somebody will take a chance on Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody it'd probably be a little bit harder for PG.
Right.
I mean, but those two guys, that's a nice starting point if you want to, start from scratch. I don't know how long you keep Maxey if you do that though, knowing that he's seen some success already, and now it's like but maybe just being the face is enough. You know what I mean? Face of the franchise, that might be enough for him to stick around.
Yeah. Nostalgic Nick said Maxey is a shooting guard. You agree with that?
I think he's like Brunson. I think he's a pass first. I mean, a score first.
Mm-hmm.
A score first guard. But I mean, same as quickly too. You know what I mean? Like, put him in either spot, honestly.
Right. I think he's the same as quickly. You can put him in. He might be even better as a shooting guard and just having someone that is, a facilitating type of guard and allow him to just go off from the wing. Small shooting guard, though. How tall is Maxey? Maybe a little taller.
How tall is quickly?
6'3"?
So he's 6'4", I think.
Let's see. I mean, yeah, 6'2". So quickly.
6'2". Oh, it was reversed then.
Yeah.
I know one of them was an inch shorter than the other.
Yeah. I don't know how Google, like, well, I do know how they did it. Like, all I typed in is how tall is.
They listening.
Up and said, how tall is Tyrese Maxey?
They listening, Sim.
Like, what we doing?
I don't like it.
You know what I mean? Quickly 6'2" as well. All I did is say, how tall is? And that joint popped right up and said, how tall is Tyrese Maxey? Well, you know. It's crazy.
Kevin Birkin said Embiid to Toronto makes a lot of sense. Somebody else said it too, I think.
If I was Embiid, and I know, like, this is, I'm just speaking, I'm not even speaking about money. I'm not even speaking about dollars. If I was Embiid, I'd want to go to Phoenix. Old, hurt people get healthier in Phoenix. You know what I mean? The nice weather, I guess, whatever. I don't know what it is, but their careers seem to get extended in Phoenix for a little bit. Look at Chris Paul. I mean, he's not in Phoenix anymore, but he's there for a few years.
But Chris Paul, he's a bad example because he did it everywhere. Everywhere he went.
I mean, no, I get that. I'm just talking about his career. You know what I'm saying? Still going strong. He's 39 years old. I think Phoenix probably helped that out a little. Yeah, if I was Joel Embiid, but send me to Phoenix. Grant Hill, career got extended. Some in Phoenix.
It's a good one.
That's the lifeline for the old players. Something out there. It's got to be the weather. Something.
You think Miami would still take him? I mean, I'm sure they would try to do a Butler swap, but the Butler trade aside, you think Miami would be interested?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because I don't think he could deal with their regimen.
Yeah, exactly. His body probably can't deal with it.
That's what I mean. Like, they would have to really change their whole philosophy for one dude.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy how bad we wanted him before Cat, right?
Right. I was always leery.
I was too.
I was always leery.
Honestly, Cat was the one guy that I said, because I didn't really want Cat at all, but I was like, if I had to choose between Cat and Embiid, I'd take Cat.
Yeah.
And people killed me at the time too. I had to defend my take, and I'm like, I don't even want Cat. I'm just saying.
Right. Agenda. Carso. Refs loves that New York whistle. Even if we're playing bad, they get every call. Since the playoffs, Silver is going to push his agendas. Can you believe that people, after all of these years, the Knicks not being good?
I know, right?
People still believe that there's an agenda to make the Knicks good.
You know what else is? You know how I know they crazy out there? Because when we wasn't good in those, when we had lottery odds, they always talked about, they're gonna make New York win. They get their first round pick. You know what I mean? Like, non-Knicks fans, like, because of a New York agenda, we ain't never get the first pick other than Pat.
Yeah,
New York.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, everybody thought the Knicks were going to get the first pick the year Zion was in the draft, right? And I'm not hating on RJ, just saying we ended up hitting the third pick, right? Where was the fix? Where was the fix, fam? Where was the fix? There was no fix. End game. I hate the frozen envelope theory for that reason. Right. You know, nostalgic. KP was a good pick. Listen, KP was a good pick, right?
That was another one, though. The Knicks are going to get the first pick.
Yep. He was a good pick, but everybody was like, who? Kristaps Porzingis? Wasn't Jahlil Okafor in that draft?
That's the same draft?
Because I think we passed on Jahlil Okafor and got Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, Philly had 2 picks?
I don't remember. But I feel like that's the year that Jahlil Okafor was in the draft.
I don't remember.
So
I don't even remember who I wanted that year.
I actually think I wanted Emmanuel Mudiay that year.
Actually, yeah, I think I wanted Emmanuel Mudiay too. I think I wanted Emmanuel.
Yeah, I wanted Jahlil Okafor was in the 2015 draft class too. So Anthony Towns was number 1.
Okay, Towns was number 1. Okay.
D'Angelo Russell was number 2.
D'Angelo Russell.
So actually, I wanted D'Angelo Russell.
Devin Booker.
Yeah, I wanted D'Angelo Russell. And when they didn't take D'Angelo Russell, when D'Angelo Russell was drafted and he wasn't there for the Knicks,
you wanted Mudiay.
I wanted Emmanuel Mudiay. Yep. Jahlil Okafor went to Philly. Porzingis went to the Knicks. Yeah.
So he was the 7th pick?
Who?
Jahlil Okafor.
Okafor was the 3rd pick.
Okay, that's what I get. Yeah, Porzingis. But we had the 6th, right?
No, we had the 5th. We had the 4th pick.
4th pick. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had the 4th pick.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't know who he was.
Nah. It's crazy. And Emmanuel Mudiay was the 7th pick to Denver.
Denver, yep.
Devin Booker was the 13th pick. Yeah. Crazy. Let me see who else in that. Anybody else in that draft? Bobby Portis was in that draft. No, I mean, no real stars came out of there besides Cat and Devin Booker.
Mm-hmm.
Like superstars.
I think KP would have reached that height if he stayed and if he didn't get hurt.
If he didn't get hurt. That was the thing. He couldn't stay healthy. Mario Hezonja was drafted at number 5. Cam Payne was drafted at 14 in that draft. Yeah.
Who drafted him?
OKC. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well, anyway, no agendas. There's no agendas for the Knicks, man.
It's all hard work, man.
Right. No agendas. No agendas for the Knicks. The Knicks built this team the right way.
Hard work and good leadership. Good front office, good coaching.
Exactly. Great. I mean, yeah. People are gonna argue with you about the coaching. You already know that. You know how much
the track record speaks for itself. So if you want to include the injuries and if you want to put it on them, that's fine. but the records and the improvements and the overachieving and the coach of the year awards, you know what I mean? Either you love him or hate him. Look, he's been voted by players allegedly, because I'm starting to want to know who these players are. But he's been voted by players least coach they want to play for. You know what I mean? On numerous years in a row.
Yeah,
I
think it's because he demands that you work hard. That's what I think it is. Players in the NBA don't want to be demanded that they work hard. You know, he has great demands of his players. You know, because it's not the minutes. Players want to play minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Players want to play minutes. It's the demands on the players. You know, the standards. Like, we have standards that you.
I know what it is. I'll tell you exactly what it is. There's more bench players and role players than starters in the league.
Say that again?
There's more bench players and role players than starters in the league. So if you poll in the league,
okay,
a starter is gonna say, "Yeah, I want to play for him."
That makes sense.
A role player, yeah, I want to play for him. You know what I mean? Those other guys who ain't sure about their minutes, ain't sure if they're gonna be able to work their way into the rotation. You know what I mean? Work hard to stay in the rotation. Yeah. And there's probably some superstars that don't want to work hard because everything comes easy for them,
right?
Or don't want to get better. You know what I mean? Like, they happy where they at.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. That's funny. It's funny. Antron said Brunson is now the biggest flopper in the league. I mean, we've been hearing that from a lot of fans all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
All over the place. That Brunson flops. Brunson is a flopper. You know, that's all we hear. Brunson flops. He flops a lot. He's a flop.
I don't care about the reputation until the refs feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he flails his body. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that.
You know, it's funny though. It feels like when he don't flail, he don't get a call.
Right. I mean, players are taught today to do that. Young players are taught to flail their body. You know what I mean? Flail your body so that you can get the call. That's exactly what they're taught. I mean, I've watched coaches teach players how to fall, how to flop, how to make noises, to trick the refs. Or let me not say to trick the refs, but to let the refs know that they got hit. You know what I'm saying? To call the foul, right? Because they say, if you don't, you're not going to get the foul call, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you gotta make the ref aware.
Right. Make him aware.
Bring attention to it.
Ralph said Brunson probably feels he's not getting the calls, which is true usually. He gets a lot of calls, though. He gets a lot of calls. There's no doubt about that. I think he's second in the league in foul rate, not foul
attempts,
but foul rate. Let's talk about Josh Hart. Kyler said Josh Hart is a better rebounder than our whole team combined. Josh Hart is a beast on the boards. He's the beast at what he does. Very unique player. Not really many like him in the league.
Oh yeah, 17.
Yep. 17 rebounds. Not many like him in the league. You know,
I'm trying to think who was like him ever. Like who would you compare him to?
I think a guy like hard because Mason was like 6'7", but Mason was kind of similar. You know, just kind of did everything. You know, at some point they figured out that he could handle the ball. Mason.
I remember that was. Right? Wasn't that in the playoffs?
Maybe in the playoffs, yeah. And then he was really he really became used as an all-purpose guy. So he may not have been getting triple doubles like Josh Hart is, right? But he was being used in that way as an all-purpose guy. You know, he could rebound, he could get assists, he could bring the ball up, he could score a little bit. You know, he played defense. You know, he was kind of like that type of guy.
Especially get the rebound, push it up the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was getting fast breaks like Hart, but yeah,
right. He wasn't getting fast breaks like Hart was. You know, but he was that type of player, scrappy. You know, he didn't really shoot the three like that. You know, yeah, he was that type of guy. He averaged like 3.4 assists per game. You
know what really makes it a good comparison, just like the energy of the city.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. And in his best season, 96-97 with Chicago, 16 points a game, 11.4 rebounds, 5.7 assists. Right? Same type of game. You know, didn't have the 3-point shot he shot 33% from three that year.
That developed.
And guess what?
He in the volume, but he could shoot it.
And guess what?
What's that?
And I want everybody on here to hear this. Hold on for a minute. Let me see something. Oh, looking at the wrong thing. But anyway, that's the type of game that he played. Right? He played that type of game. You know, and that was with the Charlotte Hornets. And in that season, they're gonna hate me. People gonna be mad at me. He averaged 43 minutes a game. 43 minutes per game is what he averaged for the Hornets.
I ain't even know Tibbs coached on the Hornets.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't know Tibbs coached the Hornets either. 43 minutes a game. The season before that, he averaged 38.9 minutes per game. The season before that, he averaged 38.2. The season before that in Miami, he averaged 40.7 minutes per game. The season after that, no, I'm sorry. Hold up. Let me back up. I'm sorry. My bad. The season before that in New York, he averaged 14 points per game. He averaged 9 rebounds, 4 assists. He averaged 42.2 minutes per game. And then the season after that in Chicago, in Charlotte, he averaged 43.1 minutes per game. That's his best season. Maybe his second best season. It
was different times, Sim.
And he was 30 years old.
Players was tougher back then, Sim.
Right. In 97, 98 with Charlotte, he averaged 38.9 minutes per game. 31 years old. 99 and 2000, he was 33 years old. 33. And he averaged 38.2 minutes per game. 2000, 2001, 40.7 minutes per game at 34 years old. Man played 13 years in the league. Come on. Talk to me. Come on. Just saying. I don't see nobody in the chat saying nothing about that, though. I'm saying it. They're ignoring it. I don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear about it. And Tom Thibodeau was never his coach. Well, maybe at some point for the Knicks he was. As an assistant coach. Just saying.
But yeah, Josh Hart is having a phenomenal year.
Right.
And
look, yeah. This is, I'm saying, different times. Come on, man.
I knew that was coming. Times is different.
Times
like players were tougher,
and players also didn't take care of their bodies as well back then.
That's crazy. That's the crazy part,
right? They didn't take care of their bodies as well as they take care of it now. They didn't have the same innovations that they have now to take care of their bodies.
I felt like back then, like in the early 90s or whatever, I felt like people's primes were like at 30. It started at 30, and it feels like players' primes is coming earlier, like 27.
And those years that he played all those minutes, right? Played with the Knicks, they were 47 and 35. The next year in Charlotte, they were 54 and 28. Right? Good basketball team.
I didn't even know he played in Charlotte.
Yeah, I remember when he left.
I thought he went right to Miami.
Nah,
we traded him to Charlotte?
No, I think he signed as a free agent.
I know when he ended up, he got traded to Miami. I could have sworn he left us and went to Miami.
And the only time, he from New York he went to Charlotte, and then from Charlotte to Miami, and he made the All-Star team when he was in Miami.
I know when they announced he was going to Miami, I ended up on the same flight with him to Miami. I'll tell you that story later.
Yeah. And his coach was Pat Riley in Miami, 50 and 32. Yep. You know, winning teams play their players. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, Tone.
Yes, sir.
I got to hit the road.
I hear you.
Yeah, I got to hit the road. You know, I got a long ride ahead of me tonight. Got to hit the road. Schools, big fan of the Losers Lounge. Thank you. It's Tony's idea. This is Tony's baby.
Appreciate it. My brainchild.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. But appreciate you, Sim.
No doubt
Salute
about it.
To the chat.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hopefully get some more of these. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I mean, you know, listen, Knicks got 27 wins, man.
Yeah, we in good shape. You know what I mean? We have high expectations, so you know, a lot of times we overreact to losses and some wins.
Right. Exactly. But folks, we out of here. Appreciate you. Oh, and y'all better believe when I get on one of these post-game shows, I'm bringing Anthony Mason back. You know, I'm bringing Anthony Mason back to talk about this minutes thing. Yeah. We out, ladies.
Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, you know, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, you know, recently. But things can change quickly. You know, once we Losing is what got us here. None of us feel